Stop relying on store-bought forms. They probably don't fit you.
Cheap £30 mannequins like Claire here are a great starting point, but they aren't made for growth or changes to your body. If you ever tried to match your body to a mannequin and it looks nothing like your shape, you're not alone.
In this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own paddings to fit your curves with a little bit of a twist, because your body deserves to fit properly.
Before we get started, here's what you'll need to make your own zipped pads. I decided to create and sew into the pad some pin points to put the pins into, so I won't have to pin into the pad in sections, and they were only about 2.5 centimeters wide, but it's not really necessary. Lay out and press the calico that you're going to need 4 pieces. They'll need to be large enough with the width and length of the area, plus any darts that you'll need to create. Using the tape, mark the centre front of your mannequin. This will help with placing the foundation fabrics and drawing the padding shapes. For the bust pads, place the calico on the centre front of the mannequin, high enough to cover up the nape, shoulder and side. Cutting the calico on the grain line and placing it on the centre front of Claire. I used pins and gentle fold to create darts in the fabric, as this will be used to create the shape of the bust pads. Draw the shape to include the nape, shoulder and slightly under the bust. Also, while pinning, smooth the fabric along the bodice to make it as flat as possible. When it gets to the bust point, you're going to create a dart. Fold in the fabric as it will create a curve that is needed to fix the pad on later on. Next, we're going to draw the rest of the bottom part shape. With easing, cut off the excess fabric around 2 centimeters away from the shape markings. Then snip into the fabric to ease the tension off. Make sure you draw in both legs of the dart. I measured my own bust with my bra on, and then put that same bra on Claire and used the stuffing to make it filled with the same cup as mine. Measure and now get your second piece of fabric and then put it in the same place. When you get to the dart shaping of the bust, you might want to do about 2 or 3 darts at the bust point. Shape and smooth over the bust. Put pins in the darts to keep them in place before you draw them in. Cut down the fabric and snip into it. Cut out the padding shape and cut the dart into a slight curve at the bust point. On pattern paper, draw a straight grain line and draw around it, adding 1.5 cm, which is about half an inch seam allowance. Label and name the pattern piece. Do the same to the top bust pattern piece. On the fabric, lay the pattern piece parallel to the grain line of the fabric. Cut 2 pieces flipped for each side. I overlocked the edge of both pattern pieces. I sew the dart closed as a 0.5 cm seam allowance. And using a tailoring ham, I pressed all the darts into place. Hi, if you could like, comment and subscribe, seeing as you're at the almost halfway point, I'd really appreciate it. the centre front of the bust padding, join the top and bottom pieces together on a wider stitch about 1.5cm seam allowance. Press it open and place the zipper face down on the inside seam and pin it into place. Change the regular foot to a zipper foot and start with the zip slider down and sew all the way to the end of the zipper. Take the foot up, twist the fabric so the needle goes over the bottom of the stitch and sew to the end. Then stop, twist again and move back up towards the top of the zipper. Take it out and pull the slider down past the stitch and finish off the stitch on both sides. Using a seam ripper, cut the thread and reveal the zip. Just under the seam allowance on the top padding, use the widest stitch without back stitching, sew two parallel lines to create gathering to match the bottom piece. At the end of the stitch, pull the threads as long as possible before snipping. Tie the top threads together and tie the bottom threads together on one side. Then, by pulling the top two threads only, you'll create a soft gathering to ensure that it fits the bottom pad and pin. So I pinned in the pin point to the edge, hiding the overlocking at the 1.5 seam allowance. Next, we finish off the rest of the stitch. Change the machine to a zigzag stitch. Then we cut the elastic slightly less than a third of the hem of the pad, sew in the seam allowance while pulling on it slightly. Turn it out the right way around, and I use the pressing hand to smooth it out while keeping the shape curved. Stuff the padding and then close the zipper. Using a fabric print, I drew an approximate tummy shape right onto my mannequin. Then I pinned and smoothed out a piece of calico on top of the markings that I drew onto it. This isn't 100% balanced, so I folded it in half and chose the side that I like the best and cut on the fold. Drawing a fold line and laying the calico on to create a reflection. Add a 1.5 seam allowance and label the pattern. This will be used for the top and bottom pattern, so there'll be two pieces. Overlock all around the edge, the zipper will be placed at the straightest part at the top. I press the seam open, pin the zipper in the position on the inside and start the slider position up and start sewing just after it. When the zipper is at the bottom, stopper section, use the zipper foot, take it up, swivel it up, change the zipper to sew over it, swivel it again, put the zipper foot back down and then sew back up to the stopper. Using a seam ripper carefully to rip open the stitches to reveal the zipper. I created some pinpoints and sewn into the pads and used these sections to pin the patterns in place. Stuff the pad with polyfill stuffing. To make the hip pads, I started sketching out a rough hip shape directly onto the calico using a fabric pen. Once I liked the shape, I traced the pattern onto a paper with a straight line. I added a 1.5cm seam allowance all the way around and labelled the pattern. You'll need 2 of these, one for the top and one for the bottom for each side. After cutting, I overlocked the edges. The zipper is on the longest, the straightest edge, which is at the side. Using the tailor ham, I press the seam open. I place the zipper to the inside face down and you're going to start sewing from the top, just after the slider, all the way down to the bottom. When you reach the bottom of the stopper, lift up the foot, rotate the zipper, sew across the bottom, then rotate again and continue sewing to the other side. Then slide the zipper down and sew the remaining section. Carefully use a seam ripper to open up the middle of the seam and to reveal the zipper underneath. I've pinned in the pin points to make sure that it's got something to pin onto. Sew this closed and fill with polyfill stuffing. I placed some tape on the centre back of the mannequin. To make the butt pads, I started by drawing in soft circular shapes onto the mannequin using a fabric pen. I added a 1.5 seam allowance all the way around, labelled the piece and cut 2 pieces for each side. I laid the pieces parallel to the grain line to make sure that they fit properly. After I overlock the edges, the zipper is going to be on the straight edge but slightly curved. I pressed the seam open, pinned the zipper to the inside and started sewing just after the slider. When I reached the end, I lifted the foot, turned the zipper, sewn all the way across the bottom, rotated again and sewed back up to the other side. Then I slid the slider down and stitched the last bit of the section at the top. And finally, here I am placing all of the paddings to the areas of the bodies that I want. Obviously the bust and the bust area, the hips, the butt pads, the stomach, whatever you've chosen to do. You don't have to use all of them actually. I mean, I just decided to make them all and put them on just for this tutorial, but maybe you don't want to make certain areas. Maybe you just want the bust. Maybe you don't want to be so detailed, and it's completely up to you. But I just thought I'd show you how I pin them on when it comes to me finishing the whole thing.
So for me, the zip element is where it's really, really different, because then you can just take it out. Like, you can put whatever stuff in you're in. If you're in different transitions of your life, you can take it if it's not just a one thing. And that's the main reason why I thought the zipper isn't obviously, say, mandatory, nothing is here, but I just thought it'd be a really good idea to put the zipper in, and I put it in all of the paddings, so you can take it out and put whatever you need back in. Please like, comment and subscribe. I hope I made your day so much better, and I'll see you soon.